Hi, Gummies. I missed you. Anyway, I took an unexpected break from making videos, but I'm going to jump back into it for the month of April. I am kicking things off with a discussion about Becoming, the book from Michelle Obama. I asked my friend Jamillah Smith to join me today to get her thoughts and to discuss our overall, comments about what we thought about the book. So hopefully that if you haven't already read it, I will encourage you to get the hard copy or do like I do. I listen to books on audible.com. For whatever reason, trying to sit down and read a book cover to cover, I don't know. I just feel like I have ADD and I just cannot focus. So I listen to the books as I'm working or as I'm driving in the car or just, sometimes even if I'm in my kitchen, washing dishes or something, I'll just turn it on and I'll listen. So anyway, hopefully you will enjoy the discussion. Let's get into it. Hey, Jamila.
Norla.
Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about Michelle Obama's book, Becoming an intimate conversation with Michelle Obama. Exactly. I'm digital. I listen to my books, so it's on my cell phone. But thank you so much again for joining me in my gummies and talk about this book or whatever. So tell us about yourself. Who are you? How do I know you?
Well, my name is Jamillah Smith, and I am a one of a kind.
Mm-hmm,
No, I
mm-hmm.
am a one of a kind, but I work in finance. I'm a mother of two, a grandmother of two, and I'm also a leader or a CEO of a nonprofit organization called Journey Unveiled
Yes.
for teen girls and young women, which serve underserved communities such as Chester, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, Delaware, the tri-state area as a whole. And so we are a nonprofit that present workshops to young girls that will give them the opportunity to be a part of unique and engaging workshops that give them things that they wouldn't necessarily get. Like we just did a teenage tea talk for them over the
Yeah.
weekend, and it
Uh-huh.
was fabulous. All the girls dressed up, and they really loved it.
Awesome. So make sure you send me your website and then I'll put it in the comment section. And that way people can go to your website and check it out if they so desire.
Definitely. But if they're listening, they can go to info@journeyunveiled.org. Or I'm sorry, www.journeyunveiled.org.
Perfect. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. So, like I said, I for whatever reason trying to sit down and read a book, my ADD kicks in and I can't pay attention. So I listened to the book and I was able to listen to Michelle Obama. And so in the audio version, it's her voice. So she's the one who's doing the narration and she has a very calm and soothing voice. So that was pretty good. And overall, I want to say that I really did like the book. I like hearing people's stories. I like hearing who they were before they became, this public figure or whatever, listening to their family dynamics on her relationship with her dad and her mom and her aunts and stuff. So I really enjoyed that part of it. But then when it started getting into the adult years and she started going and she went into detail the full 8 years of being in the White House. So she started to lose me a little bit because I am so not political and some stuff I remember, some stuff I was like, oh, that happened, really? So, but I appreciate her candidness and her openness about how she truly felt like, especially her thoughts and her comments about Trump. I appreciated the fact that she kept it to the facts for the most part and didn't get into like bashing and things like
Right.
that. She just gave her feelings on how she felt and some of the things that he said, how that impacted her and her family and stuff like that. So I appreciated her candor. I really appreciated her openness.
Yeah. And so this is live. And so if you hear my grandbaby in the background, I apologize, but he gets to cry whenever he wants to here.
That's right.
But listen, I listened to the audio first before I read the book, and then I read the book. That's just exactly how much I love the book.
Wow.
It resonated with me because of her truth.
Yeah.
She was so open and so honest and so transparent, but genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And you're absolutely right. When you say her voice is calming, it was very calming. I even played around with like how fast I wanted her to talk.
That's funny.
but it was really good. And like you said, I really like the way Michelle Obama addressed the Trump situation.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in a way in which it was what I felt was negative. I felt it was just honest. It was
Right.
her reaction to some of the things that he was saying about her family and how he was literally putting her family in danger, which is just something like, you know, if anybody, like that's just something hard to forgive when you're maliciously putting out things that you know are not true and that, you know, could potentially bring harm to her family. I have to respect her for the way that she spoke about it and her feelings about it. Exactly. But what I will tell you is she says something throughout the book that really resonates with me, and it's about good enough.
Yes.
Always asking the question of, is she good enough? You know, when she went to work for the nonprofit, when she, you know, when she went to school, you know, that's something that I think resonates with us as women, because as we continue to grow in our careers or grow as a parent or grow as a wife, you know, just as a woman in general, you question, are you good enough for that? You know, do you have what it takes to be successful at that? And I'm telling you that if you ask me what one point resonated with me the most, it was that statement about her asking if she was good enough. And let me tell you something. Michelle Obama, you are good enough.
What? Yes. And like you said, it brings it home, because it's like, if you can see someone that you hold in such high regard and you respect so much, still at the end of the day, after she killed it, she's writing books, you know, she's an awesome mother, she's an awesome daughter, she's an awesome wife, and she's still asking herself that question. It's kind of like, okay, well, then I need to give myself a break. I need to give myself permission to say, okay, take a deep breath. Yes, you are good enough. You're doing okay. Because, you know, as a wife, I don't have any children, but, you know, as a wife, as an employee, you question yourself, like, okay, as a daughter, am I doing enough? I have a mother who is 80 something years old. She would kill me if I told her her age. Who is 80 years old. You know, she's going through different health issues. And you're always constantly asking myself, am I doing enough? Could I be doing better? Could I call more often? And of course, the person that I am, I'm always saying, yep, there's always room. Yes, you can. But never thinking about, okay, what are the things that you did accomplish? What are the things that you did do? And never giving myself, a pass to say, okay, well, maybe you didn't make it this time, but you made it the last 3,000 times that she called or whatever. So to hear Michelle Obama just have those same thoughts and those same insecurities, it was good to hear that, you're not alone in that.
Yeah, and I think for me, like I mentioned, I started my nonprofit in 2018, and that vision was truly given to me back in 2008 when I was going for my master's degree. And the funny part about that was I created a whole business plan for the nonprofit. I had a totally different name for it, but God will always have His way.
Right.
And we had to present it to a radio station host. And we had to present it as if it was the actual real deal. And so I presented it, and you know me and my presenting, I'm animated and everything. And at the end of it, this gentleman was like, I want to be a part of this. Like, where's this at? And that insecurity crept in with me and was like, I was like, this is not real. This is not something that I'm actually doing. When it was actually something that I wanted to do and that I wanted to bring forth, but at that time, it just wasn't my time, I say. But
right.
Now when it came back, like, okay, let me do this. There's a need for it. There's a want for it. There's a desire for it. I have a passion for it, and I believe it's my purpose. So I am good enough to do it because you know what? I'm already equipped to do it.
Yep. God chose you. So of course you're equipped to do it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few things in this book. The other thing about her issues with getting pregnant, how real she was about that, and having to go through, not the natural, we would call the natural way to have both of her daughters. I mean, she was just really real in this book. And I know so many women that suffer, with trying to conceive a child, And I think hearing that from Michelle Obama, that you're not alone in that, was a big deal for women as well.
Yeah.
You know, like here's the first lady of the United States who also faced some of the same issues and challenges as women who walk day by day, you know.
Right.
And I think that was really admirable of her to put that out there, because she did not.
Right. I agree, especially because for whatever reason, people get into the debate of, oh, if you don't have the baby vaginally, or if you don't have the baby this way, or if you don't do that, it's like, at the end of the day, you're still a parent. It doesn't matter how the child came into the world, you are still a parent. Whether you had to do vitro or whether you and your husband were able to conceive naturally, you're still a parent. You're still a parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for her to put that out there, I thought that was really awesome as well. One of the things too that I wanted to talk about is when she talked about her piano lessons, and she was saying that she took the piano lessons with her Aunt Robbie in her apartment, and how the keyboard was kind of flawed. But then when she had her recital, she was sitting in front of this pristine piano, and she didn't even know where to start, because it's like, well, wait a minute, is this how a piano is really supposed to look? And so I just thought about that on like a bigger scale, where we have to expose people, not even just kids, but adults. We got to expose ourselves to more than our corner of the world. We have to get out and see some world. We have to get out and experience things that wasn't necessarily something that was introduced to you as a child. You know what I mean? So that just kind of resonated with me too. Getting outside of your neighborhood, getting outside of your state, getting outside of this country to see how other people live, to expose yourself to different cultures, to people with different religious beliefs and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed her talking about it. And like I said, that just kind of made me think of some broader things more than just, the imperfect piano.
Yeah, exactly. And, when you think about that, listen, as an adult, I'm still getting out and learning and, experiencing. Didn't get an opportunity to do that when I was growing up. So as an adult, I'm like, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to go that. And it's funny, because that is exactly what Journey Unveiled is about. It's about giving these young girls and young women the opportunity to experience things that they wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to experience in their community, right? Mm-hmm. So whether we bring it to them or whether we take them to it, that's exactly what Journey Unveiled is about. So you're absolutely right. I love the analogy that you put towards that, the whole situation with the piano. Her dad, though.
Yes. Her dad was funny, but I love him. And he is, again, he's a relatable, typical dad. And when she was talking about him, the thing that stuck out about me is he's a typical man. He's so busy taking care of his family that he didn't even take the time to seek his own, go to the doctor to see what was going on with him, because he was making sure that the kids, were in college, making sure the wife was good or whatever. So it's just like, as men, we always talk about women, how we're super women, how we have the big old S on our chest, and how we're not taking care of ourselves, and we need to give ourselves permission or whatever to have time to ourselves. But there are men out there who need the same thing. They need permission too, to say, okay, it's okay to go to the doctor. It's okay to take, the time off or whatever to go see about your own health, and to make sure that you are physically, mentally healthy as well.
Yeah. And I think, it's her story. She wasn't poor.
Right.
Impoverished, right? But they didn't have everything, right? Mm-hmm. So they weren't well off, but they weren't in poverty, but they had just enough to make it happen. And I love one thing that she talked about in the book about, I think they were going on a field trip, or I can't remember exactly where, and she didn't tell her parents. And her dad was like, that wasn't for you to decide.
Yeah.
They wanted to ensure that their children got the experiences and the exposure that they wouldn't get in those Chicago neighborhoods, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why he worked so hard. And so I admire her family dynamics, and her mother.
Yeah.
Listen here. She's her own. Do you understand? Yeah. Her mother instilled some amazing values in her children, and the relationship that Michelle had with her brother. I attribute that to the family structure that her mom and father put in place.
Yeah,
you literally follow her brother around until she could around anymore.
Yeah, I like her because I don't have grandparents. Like most of my grandparents died before I was born, and then I had a grandmother. She lived until I was maybe teens, but
Mhm.
I have to admit that I did not appreciate her as far
Right.
as spending more time with her and trying
Right.
to, you know what I mean, just spending more time with her. So to hear her talk about Southside how they listen to records together and how he gave her her own special shelf for the song, for the records and stuff that she liked. And then her relationship with her father's dad, where she was the only one who could put him in his place. Everybody else, he was just cranky or whatever and said whatever to the family, but she would kind of, still put him in his place because, of the love that she had. It was just like, I'm not going to sit back here and let you talk to me any kind of way, even though she was a grandchild. But you know what I mean? Like they had that banter between the two. So I even appreciated her relationship with her grandparents.
Yeah. And you know what? I think a lot of times what happens when you become a first lady, a lot of the accomplishments that you've had kind of gets overshadowed by that whole presidency situation. But she was very much accomplished, and she worked hard in her community. There was just so much that I didn't know about her professional background that was brought out in this book.
Right.
That really amazed me, and how she worked for her city and her county, and how she started that at a really young age with her father, going around to the different houses and homes and visiting, people and things like that with her father. So I think all of that was kind of ingrained in her from the very beginning. That was something that was rooted in her.
Right. That's who made her who she is and gave her the compassion that she has for the people, seeing her father having such compassion for
Yeah.
people. Yeah. I enjoyed that. Was really good too.
Yeah.
Um
When she talked about being, when she got to her dorm and got her room, she got her roommate, and her roommate was Caucasian,
mhm.
and the mother had her moved because Michelle Obama was Black.
Yes. And
So
she didn't even know
right.
she was none the wiser until years later the girl told her, and then she heard her mom, her roommate's mother, say that she had her moved because she was African American.
Mhm.
Can you imagine having your daughter moved and then years later finding out now she's the first lady of the whole United States?
Ignorance, it all back to ignorance.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful that Michelle never fed into any of that, or she was really, at most times oblivious to it because of the exposure that she had as a child.
Yes.
Her parents didn't just expose her to just the African American culture. They
Mhm.
wanted her exposed to all different types of things so that she can be well-rounded, be as articulate as she is as a woman, as a young woman, and as the woman that she is today. She's very well educated,
Yes.
very well educated. And, it's funny how she was Barack's mentor, right? And then he became the president. And I felt like even still as the president, she was still like a wife to him, but a mentor, someone that he could always, soundboard off of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and she shared that where she shared the scenario of when they were going in to get Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden.
Thank you. When they were going into attack, and she was saying that she wanted to engage, but at that time she realized, okay, now my husband, like we're used to being each other's sounding board, but now he's the president of the United States. Now he has to confide in other people who have more knowledge about that subject so that he can make sound decisions. But yeah, like you said, but she did speak back that that's how they were, like that's the dynamic of their relationship, which I think is awesome too. And I think you see that mutual respect, you see that love. Like, what if some of these memes say, if my husband don't look at me like that, then throw the whole marriage away or whatever? So and I feel like they are like, and not to say that they're perfect or not to say that they don't have their own issues or struggles or whatever, but just seeing him with his children, seeing him how he interacts with his wife, you can definitely see that there has been a foundation that has laid before he became who he was, and
but there was also a level of respect
mm-hmm.
of them that had laid the groundwork
Yes.
for them. Even though she never wanted him to go into politics, she never wanted to be involved in politics. She was a wife who stood by her husband,
yes,
and didn't hold him back for which she knew he was already called for, in spite of what was going on in the, the debates and the campaigning and all of the racial things that they faced, even going through that before he even became president.
Right.
Was amazing. And, just dealing with him being away from home.
Yes. When you have young children. No doubt. That was hard. But something you said too brings me to another point, where she talked about how you read the newspaper or you're watching the news and you hear the things that people say about you, the things that they say about your husband, and then you end up at the same event together and you have to smile and take pictures next to people and be cordial. I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Or
a woman,
if she was really a woman and all that stuff, and then you bump into these people and you have to smile. Or even when you're changing of the guards, all the stuff that Trump said about you, said about your husband, even before he ran, like questioning whether he was really a U.S. president and him being a president is illegal. So now you have to smile and take photo ops and give them information so that now that they can be successful. And so just that alone, she gets major props from me, because I work for you, so you already know my mouth is reckless.
I'd be like, Dorla, you can't go say that.
You already know. It's hard to fake it. But she had to not only fake it.
She wasn't faking it.
Yeah.
It's who she is. At her heart of heart, at her soul of souls. That's who she is. She's going to do the right thing even when it's hard to do it.
Yes.
It's not something that you want to do. Doing what's right is doing what's right.
Right.
And that's it. It wasn't for me. I don't think she was faking it. She was being the woman that she was raised to be.
Right.
She was the woman that she became as she went through all of the different trials and obstacles in life that she had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So and the support of her mom through all of that was amazing too, because having that support is important.
Yeah.
As an African American woman in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Now she wasn't necessarily running for any office, but as a senator's wife and as a president's wife, you are in politics.
Yeah. And the cameras are constantly on you. So even if she wanted to go off, she knew she could not feed into it, because just the mere fact of who she was and what her skin color was, people already had their preconceived notions as to who she was. So it's like you had to be mindful of that. At no point, anybody can come up to you and say whatever they wanted to say. But then when you respond, people are going to judge you for your response. Like, oh, she angry. I knew she was angry, or this, that, and the other. So it's just like, that's a lot of pressure.
Well, you heard what she said in the book, where she was being perceived as an angry Black woman.
Right.
You know how we do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it, But, just by the tone of her voice and her presence, and having to reevaluate that.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been a strong woman and making points that needed to be made. She was a lawyer, she worked in the politician's office in Chicago. So she had to, have that tone to make points that she needed to make, right? But now as the president's wife, she had to dial that back a little bit.
Right.
But she still had to find a way to still be her.
Right.
So, you have to admire someone that was able to do that, because I can't remember a speech where I actually thought she was an angry Black woman, but
right.
Who knows what people were perceiving.
Right.
We're just two women who actually just love Michelle Obama so much
right.
that wrong anyway.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So let's see. Any other points that you wanted to bring out?
Yeah, her mom though, right? So her mom came to the White House with them, and but she was like, "Y'all not gonna change my lifestyle."
Okay.
I'm not going around with all these guards and Secret Service. She said she would walk to the store, go to TJ Maxx, and after one time she said she was in a restaurant or something, and someone walked up to her and said, "You look just like Michelle Obama's mother." And she said, "Yeah, I get that all the time."
I cackled when I was like, "Well, okay, Mama, you better go ahead and be the owner of your life, no matter what."
She was like, "You will listen. I will come and I will help you with my grandbabies.
Yes,
for you, but you will not
change my life."
Listen, I'm going to walk to the store when I want to walk to the store. I'm going to go to TJ Maxx when I want to go to TJ Maxx. I'm going to go have brunch and lunch with my friends as I please.
Yes,
So
Lord.
I thought that was cool. I thought,
I thought
she
that was true.
this will change who I am and how I live.
Yeah.
But I will say, the young gentleman who pulled up for prom at the White House, he had to be terrified, right?
First of all, let's just give the brother props for even asking her to the prom. Let's just give him props for that, for actually showing up. Because most dudes were like, nah, I'm good. No, thank you. I know some grown men who wouldn't have. So as a teenager, he gets props.
Like, you want me to go to Secret Service, security, the gates, your mom and your dad?
Yep.
No, I'm not doing all that. But yeah, he did it though.
But what I loved is how she described how they met him. She was barefoot and Obama had on slides. Like, they were just chilling. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't go to the door with no, pomp and circumstance, with no full suit on, and her in her own ballroom gown. Like, they were like, whatever. My daughter's going to the prom.
I'm gonna look just like mom that's getting her daughter ready for the prom. That's what's happening right now. No makeup, robe, and all of that.
I appreciated that. I was like, that was really cool. Like she said, trying to make it as normal as she could, of an experience for her daughter. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I think also, just to call out in the book, what I took was how their lives had to change, right? As a family, the first family of the United States, right? Basically how when they would go to try to do a date night.
Yeah.
Everything had to stop, so they really couldn't do their date nights like they used to. I think it was in New York, because the cost and this and that and everything that had to be shut down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sacrifice.
And even not being able to go to church. Yes. They said, she's like, when they while they were in the presidency, they stopped going to church because it just caused too much attention and just disrupted everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that the biggest thing through this book, outside of am I good enough, because that resonates with me here, right? Mm-hmm. But the other thing is there was a lot of sacrifice on Michelle's part, you know, and I truly believe that Barack appreciated wholeheartedly all the sacrifices that she made, because she inevitably gave up her career, you know, because it wasn't like she was a stay-at-home mom, didn't work. She was educated, well-rounded, well-spoken, in her own right, powerful woman that, was doing the daggone thing. And she in turn turned around and, sacrificed for the greater good. She knew that this was the purpose that Barack had to take on, because that's what the country needed at the time. Right. So you got to appreciate that as well.
Yep, I agree. One of the last things that I wanted to bring up is the quote. Mm-hmm. Failure is a feeling long before it becomes an actual result.
Yes.
I love that. I wrote that down. I was like, I think I might use that as a banner, because like I said earlier, oftentimes we are our own worst critic. Like even you were sharing about starting your vision, originally back in 2008?
Yep.
You allowed yourself to get into your own head, know, and, for me, I took this Crucial Conversations course at work, right? And one of the things it was saying that you have to weed out the story and the truth. And so a lot of times we tell ourselves this story. And let me tell you something. I have Oscar stories going on, okay? These stories that I tell myself in my head are Oscar worthy, because whatever, like one little piece of doubt, whatever comes in my head, and then I write this whole entire negative story of why I shouldn't do it, why I shouldn't move forward with it, and this, that, and the third. But this quote right here: failure is a feeling long before it becomes an actual result. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has some really great quotes in this book, and I actually have to give her props, because I don't know, I appreciate the resilience, the honesty, the transparency, the human side of Michelle Obama and Barack Obama and their entire family. They suffer tragedies and things like that, just like anyone else would. They sacrifice just like anybody else did. But they worked hard
Mm-hmm.
to achieve the different things that they wanted to achieve. Thinking about when Barack lost his mom, or his I think it was his grandma. You
Yeah.
know, how that could have affected him, or just as a family, right? Just an amazing book.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can read it again,
Mm-hmm.
probably maybe 2 or 3 more times, because I'm sure every time you read it, there's going to be a pull of something different that you're going to get from this book.
Right.
So just an amazing book, I think. And she poured her heart and soul into it. And I appreciate the fact that she was a narrative on her own book, because that
Yeah.
really helped me get through it.
Yes. A lot of times, celebrities, they are the narrator of their own book on Audible, but sometimes,
Right.
why you do that? You should have, you should have asked somebody else to do
Right.
it, because I can't absorb this book because of your voice or your personality or whatever. But like you said, but hers, I enjoyed her narrative, and it was it was really good. Like I said, she just and then the other thing I think about is, like as she was talking about her life, it's not like she had any special, upbringing that makes her different from anybody else in the world. She was raised up like anybody else, but she,
Parents.
yeah, you know what I mean? Just regular little parents or whatever, but she used everything that had been instilled into her, and she just moved forward and became,
Yep.
Barack Obama's.
No, I don't even say that. She became Michelle
Right,
Obama,
right.
First Lady of the United States.
Yes.
She will always be my FLOTUS. But she is a woman in her own right.
Yes.
She has a purpose that's going to set this world on fire. It's already, the flame has already been lit, but I think we've only just seen the tip of what Michelle is going to contribute to this country. So
I agree. And she made it a point at the end of the book to say, no, she will not be running for president. Yeah.
I wouldn't want her to. You know what? I think 8 years is enough. I think Barack collected enough gray hairs for the both of them. And I think she's already sacrificed enough.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
And for her to grow into her own and do what, she knows she's called to do.
Right.
So I wouldn't even want her to run.
I'm looking forward, though, to see where her journey will take her. And I know it's going to be something great. It may not be the White House or whatever, but I know whatever it is, it's going to be something great, and that's going to be impactful.
Impactful. Yes.
So I already know, I already believe that and receive it for her on her behalf.
You better go on ahead and say that.
Well, thank you very much. I know you got to get back to your so what does your grandson and your granddaughter call you? Gigi? Mama. So I know you got to get back to your mom duties.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
go out to dinner for maybe like an hour and a half,
Oh, okay.
He's not quite mama age,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's what, 2 months? Is he even 2 months yet?
2 months yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
that's mommy and daddy time. But I'm gonna give them a break tonight.
I'm just like, when they if they can't hold their head up on their own, I don't too much want to be bothered. Matter of fact, if you're not walking and going to the bathroom, I don't too much want to be bothered either.
I get them a little sooner than that.
It's too funny. But like I said, thank you so much for chatting with me. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for bumping your gums with me this fine evening, because I know you're so busy, Miss. I'm in town. I'm out of town. I'm in town. I'm out of town. So I appreciate that you were able to take out some time in your busy schedule to bump your gums.
Thank you. Oh, and did I mention that I finished my courses for my doctorate program? It's all about the dissertation now, baby.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you giving yourself like a schedule to make sure that you don't procrastinate?
Yeah, I created a schedule for myself. I got me an accountability partner, and I meet with my advisor, once a month, just to make sure I'm on track with everything. So yes, definitely.
That's awesome. Just make sure I get my invitation for the graduation party.
For sure. I'm debating on whether I'm gonna have one or whether I'm just go away again. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't blame you. You once you finish your dissertation, you probably will need to go somewhere on the island with a cocktail, with a margarita, mai tai, or whatever you want to call it. Just chill.
Something. All right. Well, thank you for having me, Doyle. I appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope that you enjoyed the conversation. And if you are not following me on Instagram, please feel free to do so. Bump in my gums. Of course, I'll drop the link down below. And please, if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell so the next time I update content, you will be notified. Please feel free to drop down comments. Let me know what you think. If you've listened or read the book by Michelle Obama, please feel free to drop your comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much and have a great day on purpose.